You sure that's a uniform? Looks more like a scarecrow costume. That's what someone laughed when the old farmer walked into the supply store, boots muddy, jacket torn, and patches faded. No one offered help. One clerk whispered, "He probably bought that at a flea market." But 3 days later, when the mayor asked for a name to honor at the Memorial Day ceremony, the Pentagon sent back one file. It was classified under vault access only. If you believe not every hero looks polished, but every medal has a story, comment, "Honor him," below. The morning fog clung to the fields as Samuel Sam Harlow finished his chores. At 81, his movements had slowed, but precision still shaped every motion. Decades of discipline formed his routine, up at 4:30 a.m. to tend his modest farm just outside Oak Ridge. That morning, a fallen branch had damaged the fence along his eastern property line. Sam knew from experience that maintenance always beat emergency repair. He pulled on his faded army jacket, the same one he'd worn since the late 70s. What once had been crisp military issue now looked like any farmer's work coat. Except for the barely discernible unit insignia on the shoulder, few would notice. The drive into town took 15 minutes. Sam parked outside Anderson's Farm Supply, the same store his father had visited half a century before. Spring brought new faces to Oak Ridge: contractors, seasonal workers, and people chasing a piece of the construction boom. A group of them stood outside the entrance, sipping coffee and judging everyone who passed. Sam walked by, mud still caking his boots, cap pulled low. One of the younger men nudged another and chuckled. "Look at that guy, playing dress-up or stuck in the past." Sam heard them but kept walking. After a lifetime of service and decades of solitude, other people's opinions were like distant radio stations, occasionally audible, never relevant. Inside, he moved directly to the fencing supplies. Despite arthritis, his hands remained strong. He selected wire cutters, fence staples, and a new post-hole digger. At the register, a college-aged clerk named Tyler wrinkled his nose as Sam approached. The dried mud on Sam's boots flaked onto the spotless tile floor. "Sir, are you sure you're in the right place? Military surplus is down the highway," Tyler said, his tone thick with disdain. "Just these," Sam replied, placing the items on the counter and reaching into his wallet. "Nice jacket," Tyler continued, not letting it go. "My grandfather had one from Vietnam." Sam counted out exact change, said nothing, and gathered his things. Behind him, one of the contractors muttered, "Probably one of those fake veterans looking for a discount." Sam exited slowly, not ashamed, just tired. He had fought enough real battles to know which ones were worth revisiting. Later that week, Mayor Elizabeth Collins kicked off Oak Ridge's annual Memorial Day planning with a community-wide email. "This year," she wrote, "we're honoring one veteran from each generation, World War II to present day. Please send nominations to my office by Friday." At Anderson's Farm Supply, the employees gathered for their morning meeting just as the email hit inboxes. "Anyone got relatives we should nominate?" asked Margaret, the store manager. Suggestions flew: a grandfather from the Pacific, an uncle who served in Desert Storm. Tyler scrolled and smirked. "What about that old guy with the jacket, the farmer? Bet he'd love to tell some war stories." "Sam Harlow?" Margaret asked, her tone uneasy. "Yeah, him. He comes in covered in mud, wearing that coat like it's a trophy." Tyler laughed. "Let's nominate him. Give him his 15 minutes. "That's not funny," Margaret began. But Tyler had already tapped out a nomination. "Samuel Harlow, local farmer, always wears an old army jacket," nominating him for the senior veteran category. He added a line. "This guy still thinks he's G.I. Joe." He hit send. It was, in his mind, a harmless joke. At City Hall, Diane Peterson, the mayor's assistant of 27 years, sorted through nominations. Most were known names, familiar faces. When she reached Sam Harlow's name, she paused. "Sam Harlow," she whispered. The name tickled something from the distant past. She checked the town's veteran registry. Nothing. County records? Still nothing. Following standard procedure for unverified nominations, she flagged the name for Department of Defense verification. 2 days later, a courier in a dark suit arrived at City Hall. He handed Diane a sealed envelope stamped Official Communication, Addressee Only. The return address simply read, Department of Defense, Special Veterans Affairs Division. "Tell the mayor," the courier said. "She needs to call the number inside immediately regarding the Harlow nomination." Mayor Collins opened the envelope and quickly called Diane into her office. Her face was pale. "Did you know about this?" she asked, holding a sheet of paper riddled with redactions. "Know what, ma'am?" She read aloud. Samuel Harlow, Operation Sand Knife, Operation Whisper Lead, Medal of Honor pending declassification, current file restricted under presidential order, Pentagon vault access only. Diane stared, stunned. The farmer? From County Road 9? The mayor nodded and dialed the number provided. The call was brief and one-sided. When she hung up, she looked at Diane with reverence. "A Department of Defense representative will be attending the ceremony. Apparently, honoring Sam Harlow requires special protocols." "Why? What did he do?" "They won't say," the mayor replied. "But the man on the phone told me something I'll never forget. He said, 'That's not just a farmer, that's the ghost every Black Ops trainer studies.'" The joke nomination had unearthed a legend. Word spread quietly. Not everyone knew details, but everyone sensed something momentous was brewing. Memorial Day in Oak Ridge usually meant a modest crowd, school band music, and small-town speeches. This year, 4 black SUVs rolled up at 9:45 a.m., just before the ceremony. Men in dark suits, earpieces in, took positions around the town square. Mayor Collins took the stage, visibly formal. "Today we honor not only the fallen, but also the living who bore burdens we may never understand." She paused, then continued. "Please welcome Lieutenant General William Hayward, Deputy Director of Special Operations Command." The general, in full dress uniform, stepped up. The crowd murmured in awe. "I'm here representing the Secretary of Defense and the President of the United States," he began. "Before we begin, we acknowledge a man whose actions overseas changed more lives than we'll ever be able to count." 2 agents escorted Sam Harlow toward the stage, his jacket pressed, his posture steady. Tyler stood in the back row, eyes wide, face pale. Every veteran in the crowd instinctively rose to attention and saluted. "Mr. Harlow has declined to speak," the general said. "His humility is as legendary as his service. His missions remain classified. His medals are sealed in vaults few can access. But today, we honor him not with headlines, but with presence." He turned to Sam. "On behalf of a grateful nation, I present you this presidential citation." Sam accepted with a nod. No smile, no words, just presence. The town saw him differently now. Margaret wept. Tyler couldn't meet his gaze. The contractors who once laughed looked at their boots. The ceremony ended. Sam returned to his seat. No speech, just quiet dignity. Later, the town council voted unanimously to install a plaque. It didn't list wars or medals. At Sam's request, it read, "To the one who walked quietly while others watched loudly." The following year, the Memorial Day parade route changed. It now began at the entrance to Sam's farm. Tyler drove out weeks later. Sam was repairing the eastern fence line. "Mr. Harlow," Tyler began, voice unsure. "I'm sorry." Sam studied him, then handed him a post-hole digger. "Rather have your hands than your words, son." They worked side by side for hours. No more words needed. Sam's boots were later placed in a glass case at the Oak Ridge Historical Museum. The sign beneath them read, "These boots protected ground you'll never walk on." His jacket? Still on his shoulders every Thursday when he came into town. No one questioned it now. They just nodded. And once a year, a black SUV still visits the farm, just to check on a man whose medals weren't meant to be displayed, only remembered. Subscribe to Iron Heart Stories if you believe some uniforms get dirty not from pretending, but from protecting the land they still walk on.